hovering in midair.
Okay, no worries. And if you focus completely on this carpet, I want you to give me some definition. Give me a detailed description of this carpet. Is it cloth? Is it silk? Do you see tassels along its side? Let's get descriptive on this carpet that we're sitting on at the moment.
It's burgundy.
Burgundy, okay. And is it strictly burgundy, or do you see any other colors enlaced in it?
Burgundy with gold designs, no tassels.
Okay. And as you are sitting and seeing this carpet, if you were to look over the edges, what do you see? Is it a vacuum of space? Do you see stars? Do you see pyramids, sand, ocean? As you look over, comfortably and relaxed, what do you see at the edge of this carpet?
I see nothing.
No worries. I want you now to lay completely back on this carpet as if you're laying back with full trust and full assurance and acceptance that you will now allow this carpet to guide you and to place you in a new space-time. It will start moving slowly, but then eventually moving quicker and quicker and faster. I want you to be able to look up and see any difference in the environment that you are currently in. Tell me if you start to see anything from planets to stars to sky to water. Travel through this space. Be accepted and comfortable in the space that you're in, and move forward and travel forward on this carpet. And just allow your mind to take you to an important space and an important time that is directly connected to the time you're in now. Go forward and move forward until you're in a new space-time, and allow this carpet to be your guide. Move forward and tell me the first thing that you see.
Pink skies.
And as you move forward in these pink skies, do you see any variation of clouds, gray or white or blue? Do you
Clear
see
pink skies.
clear
And
pink
stars.
skies? Okay, so you do see the stars amongst the pink sky. And do these stars twinkle, shine bright, seem closer than they do here on Earth? Are there any variations from those stars compared to the stars here?
They look the same as they are here, but they twinkle.
And when you look at them and acknowledge them and appreciate them and even give them a wink yourself, do they twinkle or wink back? Do they show you acknowledgement just as you do to them?
Yes.
And I want you now to focus on one specific star that is shining brighter and twinkling brighter and longer than any other stars in that sky. When you identify that specific star, say, I got it.
I got it.
I want you now to use your carpet to get closer and closer to that star. You're going to move fast, faster than you can ever imagine. So you're getting closer and closer to what this star is. Whether this star is truly a star, aka sun, a planet, a spaceship. Get closer and closer until you can give more definition of what this star is. Is it a being? Is it a person? Is it a being that is emitting such a bright light that it twinkles or shines? Get closer to this star, get closer to this light, and give more definition on what it is that you are seeing.
It's me.
And as you are now looking at a higher version, an infinite version of yourself, give some definition. Are you encased in a golden hue?
I'm green.
Okay. Now, is your skin green? Is your aura field green? Let's define what is green at this moment.
My skin.
Okay. And now let's give more definition to you, because you're aware of what you look like here on this earth and in this time. Do you seem taller? Do you seem shorter? Let's give some variations. Okay. And would you identify your skin as something like a reptile skin?
No, it's smooth.
Okay.
Smooth, bright green.
Okay. And the type of clothing that you are wearing, are you dressed in a tunic or something along that line? What type of gown or dress are you in at this moment?
I don't see my clothes. I just see my skin.
No worries. I want you now to focus on the hands. And do you have 4 fingers, 5 fingers? Can you give me a description of the hands of your multiple or multi-dimensional self?
I have 3 arms.
Okay.
4 fingers on each hand.
Okay, and where is this third arm? We know that humans have 2 arms, one on the left side, one on the right side. Where does this third arm play?
It's coming from my right side.
Okay. And are you able to communicate with this version of yourself? If you were to get closer and say hello, do you respond? Do you give a wink? Do you get shy? Do you respond? What happens once you try to identify this being in front of you?
She just smiles at me.
Yes. And I want you now to ask if you have permission to ask your dimensional self a few questions. Say it will be an honor if you can speak to her directly.
She's nodding.
Okay. And I want you now to ask her, what is her name or title or position? Is she an angel? Is she a queen? What is her name? Tell her you want to be able to show her the level of respect that she deserves.
She says Gaia.
And I want you now to ask her, we know that Gaia is often referred to as Mother Earth. Would she consider herself Mother Earth?
She says no.
Okay. And what is, or why are people often mistaken and call Earth Gaia? Who is Gaia in connection to Earth?
She's smiling and she's turning blue.
Okay. So, does Gaia have a connection to Atlantis?
Yes.
And I want you now to ask her, was Atlantis a place on Earth, or was it in another location?
She says no, it wasn't here on Earth.
Okay, yeah, that's what I have found through my research as well. Was Atlantis connected to the asteroid belt or to Mars?
She's changing color again.
To which color?
She's like turning into fire.
Because she's being descriptive on what happened. But ask her, was this energy connected to which planet? Or was it for both planets? Did Atlantis have a connection to what is now the asteroid belt and Mars?
She says, well, she's shaking her head, yes.
Okay. And what produced or caused this fire? Was it war? Was there a war on Mars and that other planet?
Yes.
Okay. I want you to let her know we are here to get her story. It is time for her story to be heard, and that we won't leave until the correct story is said and spoken into this recorded session, so that we now have documented proof on what happened to her story. I want you now to ask her the name of the planet that is currently the asteroid belt. What was the asteroid belt before it was destroyed?
She doesn't open her mouth to speak, but I get the letter T.
Okay. Tiamat?
I just get the letter T.
You ask her, is it Tiamat?
Okay. She says yes. She's shaking her head, yes.
Okay. And the asteroid belt was Tiamat. Well, wasn't Earth at a time called Tiamat?
Yes.
Okay, so there was a war on Tiamat and a war on Mars.
Yes.
Okay. And was Atlantis a part of Mars before it was a desert-like abandoned planet as it is now? Was Mars a planet of water? Let's ask that. Let's ask simple questions so she can give you yes or no. Was Mars once a place of water or a planet of water?
Yes.
And were there mermaids and mermen that lived on Mars before it was damaged?
Yes.
Okay. And Tiamat is often said to have a culture called the Lumerians or Lumeria. Was Lumeria a part of Tiamat?
She's just looking at me.
Okay. Yeah, that's where the interesting story comes. So I want you now to ask her, were Enki and Enlil connected to this war?
Yes.
Is she family of these beings?
Yes.
Is she a daughter of one of these beings?
Enki.
Okay. And she is aware that Enki also had another brother that is in this war, correct?
Yes.
And the other brother, does she want to give the name of the other brother?
I see the letter P.
Okay, P. Ptah?
P and C.
P and C. We've heard different names. Okay, so I want you now to ask her, is the other brother connected to a name Lucifer? Would Lucifer be connected to the other brother?
Yes.
And Lucifer was said to be the fifth brother of Enki, or fifth sibling in the line of the Anunnakis. Was he the fifth sibling?
No.
Okay. When did this brother born in the line of brothers? Which number was he? He was number 3. So did Enki and Enlil come after, or did Enlil come first?
Enki came first.
Okay. And then came Lucifer?
No.
And then came Enlil?
Yes.
Okay. And then came Lucifer for number 3?
Yes.
Okay. And what produced this war? What were the motive between the war of planets and the war of brothers?
Gold.
So we often hear that the story is over gold and over the beings that mine that gold. Is this true?
Yes.
Okay. It's also said that it had to do not only with physical gold, but also a form of monatomic gold that human beings at that time naturally produced. Was it just
Yes.
physical? Okay, thought so. So now,
And she's changing colors again. She changes between green, blue, and red.
okay. And does she consider herself, what state does she find herself the happiest in? Which color?
Blue.
Okay. And when she was blue, was this the color she was when she was on Atlantis?
Yes.
And when she was green, was that when she was on Tiamat?
Yes.
Now she is red based on the world that we're in now?
Yes.
And where does she reside within our current world?
She's just looking at me.
Ask her, is she connected to the volcanoes on this planet?
Yes.
And connected to the magma and lava on this planet, correct?
Yes.
Because we're aware that Enki is also connected to the volcanoes, correct?
Yes.
So would this also connect to the Vulcan race? Is she connected to the Vulcan race?
Yes.
And is Lucifer also connected to this Vulcan race?
Yes.
Now, what happened to make Lucifer leave his family? What produced this separation or split?
Power struggle.
And was Lucifer forced out, or did he leave?
He left.
And as he left, he left and went to a different constellation, correct?
Yes.
And he joined forces with a race called the Draconians, correct?
Yes.
And ended up getting in a high-ranking position amongst these Draconians. And now even walks and talks and looks like these Draconians when he chooses, correct?
Yes.
But just as you are able to take on multiple forms, so is Lucifer, correct?
Yes.
Does Lucifer connect to a specific being on Earth at this moment? Or does he connect to several beings on this planet?
Several.
And, of course, Lucifer connecting to several beings, one of those beings would have to be the highest form of Lucifer, correct?
Yes.
And are you speaking with one of the higher forms of Lucifer?
Yes.
Okay. So now that we're on the same page, I'm now asking why. Bring me forward. Why reveal yourself during this session? Is there a message? Is there something that you want to ask or something that is needed to be said at this moment? Do you just miss your uncle? What is the emotions or feelings that are governing this current situation?
Power.
And there is a power struggle as we speak, correct?
Yes.
And this power struggle is amongst the brothers or amongst the brothers and sisters of this family.
The brothers.
And who are the main brothers that are still arguing and fighting over this power?
There's 5.
And I need you to name them.
I don't have any names.
Okay. So we will go with Enki. We will go with Enlil. We will go with Lucifer. Is there a being by the name of Marduk?
Yes.
And what number was Marduk? Was Marduk number 4?
Yes.
That's why he takes on the name Mars for the planet of Marduk. Okay? And does each brother have a planet that they are connected to?
Yes.
So, if we were to break down the planets, we will understand that Enki would be connected to the planet Mercury.
Yes.
And Enlil. And also, now, this is a very interesting question. We're often told that Enlil is a brother, but then we hear the name Lilith. Who would Lilith be in connection to Enlil? Would Lilith be a version of Enlil?
Wife.
So Enlil was the wife. Lilith was the wife of Enlil. Well, who was the wife of Enki? Aphrodite?
No.
Who was the wife of Enki? Because I've heard that there was a...
Venus.
Venus, yes, I'm aware. And there was a incident where Lucifer took Venus away from Enki. Is this true?
Yes.
And that is what caused a lot of anger amongst Enki and Lucifer in connection to the other power struggles that they were going through, correct?
Yes.
Now, how did he take Venus away from Enki? Was it the energy that is connected to Venus? Was he now connected to the governing energy that's behind Venus? And did he use that energy of Venus here on Earth?
Yes.
So did it also have to do with the positioning of these planets?
Yes.
Yes, so the positioning was changed. The planets were not the way that they are now, correct?
Correct.
And what does the moon have to do with this? Is the moon connected and a part of Venus?
The moon is not the original moon.
Correct. So where did this moon come from? Was it a part of Tiamat? Is it a piece of the asteroid belt?
Yes.
And how does the moon affect us since it is a piece of us that was destroyed? Is that why the moon plays such a emotional toll on humans? Because it is a part of their past that they can't really unlock, but yet constantly reminded by it by looking up to the sky every night?
Yes.
A lot of people died. A lot of spirits have died during those wars. And I know that it haunts a lot of people in this present moment. Okay. Gaia. Why choose the name Gaia?
She's just looking at me.
Okay. Certain things we won't speak about. We'll just directly get the direct answers for. Okay. So when there was a battle, did Lucifer reside on Earth, or was he banished and removed from Earth? Why did Lucifer leave and go to a different constellation? Did he lose the battle?
Yes.
Okay. And was the battle of control over the gold on this planet?
Yes.
And that gold in that battle had a lot to do with the energy on this planet, and that a lot of people were a form of slaves on this planet. Would you say that there are still a lot of slaves on this planet?
Yes.
And who of the brothers are trying to free them from slavery or free them from bondage?
The fifth.
And what is the name of the fifth brother?
I see the letter D.
Okay. Now, this fifth brother, is it also a child of one of the previous three brothers?
No.
Okay. So they're all children of Anu?
Yes.
Okay. And who at this moment is supposed to be the energy that is in charge? Who of the brothers is supposed to have their right to rule?
4.
And who is ruling the current
3.
And what is that causing? What issues is that causing humans on this planet?
Suffering.
Okay. So, what is happening to allow the fourth brother to come forward and take control?
She's just looking at me.
Is she aware that one of the brothers no longer wants to fight? Which one?
Yes.
Which of the brothers has taken on a different position, a different role?
One.
Enki has taken on a different position, a different role. Now, Enki is also connected to Poseidon, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what position or role did the number one brother take? A good position or a bad position in connection to humans?
Good.
And give us a little more information about this. What did he do? What did Enki do to change the tone of this current suffering of humans?
She's showing me food, people eating.
And people are eating healthier foods and better foods?
It's bread.
Bread. Okay. So they're eating the body of Christ, per se, if you wanted to give that a definition.
Hard nod, yes.
Yes, definitely. And this is allowing humans to become crystalline so that they can receive information and access into higher knowledge, correct?
Yes.
And this would prevent the Luciferian rule or this tricknology rule over this planet, correct?
Yes.
And then once humans have raised their consciousness to a higher level, they then will have the ability to have access to their past, which would be connection to Mars, aka Atlantis. And would we then be able to have the ability to heal that part of our past and be able to produce a new Atlantis? Is that a goal? Is that something that we as humans should desire or want, to produce a new Atlantis? And if the moon, because I've heard this, if the moon wasn't in its current position the way that it is, would humans have the ability to breathe underwater more?
Yes.
So then the moon would have to also change for us to be able to enter this fourth age or fourth brother or fourth rule.
Yes.
And in order for the moon to change, is this what the government is aware of? Is this why the government or the elites are constantly on the moon or traveling to the moon or occupying the dark side of the moon so that they can maintain the position of the moon?
Yes.
But they're also aware and can feel that there's a great change coming upon this planet.
Yes.
And that false construct and the false illusion will soon fade. Does the year 2020 have any connection to the shift or the change? 2020, of course, adding up to the number 4.
She's just looking at me.
I want you now to give us an idea of zodiac signs. We are aware that each brother were able to connect themselves to a zodiac sign. Would the age of Pisces be connected to Marduk, Lucifer, Enki, or Enlil? This last age that we were currently in, which age, which brother governed or connected to that age?
Enlil.
So Enlil was connected to the age of Pisces. So then for the age of Taurus, was that Lucifer or Enki? Enki. Okay. And the age of Aquarius, whose age is that?
Lucifer.
And are we currently in the age of Aquarius?
Yes.
And once we leave the age of Aquarius, well, we enter the next age and next rulership.
Yes.
Okay. So, as we move past the age of Aquarius, we will enter this new age and this new rule. And will that change humans on a drastic level compared to what they are and look like at this moment?
Yes, more reptilian-like.
Okay. And as they get closer to this reptilian construct, what does artificial intelligence play in this? Are there beings that are in control of that at this moment?
I don't know.
Okay. What we will now ask is, so when we were in the age of Aries, who ruled the age of Aries?
She's fading. I just see an eye.
Okay. And now we are going to connect directly to this eye. Speak directly to this eye. This eye now has the ability to speak to you right through your mind's eye. We're now going to speak directly to the energy that's connected to the age of Aries. We're going to ask which energy and which dominating force is connected to the age of Aries, and to come forward and reveal itself and speak its name directly to you. Who?
M.
M?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't really heard of M. So is M also connected to the brothers or the line of the Anunnaki?
Yes.
And what number brother is M?
4.
Okay. And Marduk, or M, was connected to the age of Aries. And now, when we enter the age of Capricorn, which is the age that comes after Aquarius, we will enter a more reptilian-like construct. Will we be still land-based beings, or will we be water-based beings?
Water.
Okay. And will there be other humans that are or will be starting to travel the skies in space? Will there be more access to the other species that reside within our galaxies?
Yes.
Okay. And are there humans at this moment working with other species and other beings from this dimension, other dimensions, and other planets at this moment?
Yes.
Okay. And can you name some of the beings or species that they're working with? Do they work?
No.
Do they work directly with the draconian species?
Yes.
And is Lucifer one of the rulers of the draconian species on this planet?
Yes.
And does Lucifer still maintain a agenda to go against humans, or is it hard to define this agenda?
Against.
He's against humans. And what is he against with humans? What is it that...
Unity.
What is it?
Unity.
He doesn't want humans to unite, or he wants humans to unite?
He doesn't.
He doesn't. So would Lucifer potentially be connected to artificial intelligence that would want humans to unite under a technological sense and not a spiritual sense.
Yes.
Okay. And what can we do to help prevent or stop some of these distractions and manipulations?
Stop using.
Stop using people? Stop using what?
Devices.
So remove yourself from the technology. Now, is this a belief system of your family? Are you connected to the Anunnaki?
No.
What species are you connected to at this moment?
It's just staring at me.
I want you now to ask, which dimension does this being reside?
7.
And being in the 7th dimension, he is completely aware how unity is one of the key factors in producing and keeping the love frequency going, a love vibration. But in order for us to keep the love vibration together, there has to be an ability for us to be able to do this. Do you believe that humans will be able to go back to their ancient abilities, or will they have to produce new ones?
New ones.
And if they have to produce new ones, why would you say that this technology would be bad? This, in a sense, is a new way of uniting, a new way of communicating. If I didn't have this technology, I wouldn't be able to speak to you directly now. Can we identify that this technology does have good possibilities?
Yes.
So then if humans were to operate this technology from a different chakra system, if they were to use it from a more heart system than a root system, then this technology would, of course, have to adapt, and it would have to adjust to the frequency that's being emitted onto it, correct?
Yes.
So then this technology would have to be, or transform itself into a love-based technology.
Yes.
And that this technology would be connected to us visiting other star systems, galaxies. This technology would be connected to us discovering our history, our past. This technology would be connected to healing and producing environmental changes much quicker than we have or had in the past. But we have, so then one way, of course, is to get off of the technology for the moment, so that we can connect ourselves back to who and what we are. Connect ourselves back to our hearts. Connect ourselves back to our souls. Once we are connected back to ourselves, would you say that it is safe to say, especially connect ourselves back to our higher selves, would you say...
Excuse me.
No problem. Would you say that it was safe to say that we then can take this technology back and use it in a more positive sense?
Yes.
Okay. Then that would be what I would advise also. Okay. Now, being where you reside, you are a higher dimension than the previous energy that was speaking before, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, being more evolved and more aware than just where that other dimensional being was, are you aware of who you're speaking with?
No, it's a dragon eye.
Mm-hmm. And I want you now to ask this dragon, is he aware of who I am?
Yes.
And which dimension do I reside on?
10.
Yes. And which dimension does Lucifer reside on?
10.
And as Lucifer sits in the 10th dimension, we are aware that those that enter the 11th dimension also enter a level of change. You cannot be in the 11th dimension if you do not reflect or connect to another form. That is the connection of the 11. Would you say that is safe to say?
Yes.
So as Lucifer enters this 10th dimension and enters and evolves into an 11th dimension, Lucifer would then change and be something different than he has ever been in the past, correct?
Yes.
So can Lucifer potentially change into a positive being during his shift from the 10th to the 11th?
Yes.
Do you feel that Lucifer is changing or working on a positive change? You connect into the love frequency. You connect into a dimension of love and trust and honesty. Do you feel that the energy of Lucifer is evolving and changing into a more positive being?
No.
And what can we do to help Lucifer change or evolve?
We can't.
Then what can Lucifer do for himself to help him change or evolve? If you were to give it... Say it again?
Surrender.
And surrendering would be surrendering to a person, place, or thing, or surrendering to an idea. Surrendering to a belief. And what would be that idea? What would be that belief?
Ego.
Surrendering the ego. And that has to do with the wars and the anger and the frustration that has haunted many of his life forms or times, correct?
Yes.
So, just like how there are energies that need help or assistance removing emotional blockages, there aren't any energies or beings that can assist Lucifer in removing these emotional blockages.
Number 5.
And what is the name of the 5th brother?
I don't know.
Am I connected to this 5th brother?
You're connected to number 4.
And would you say that number 4 was Marduk?
Yes.
And what is my connection with Marduk?
You are?
Okay, I am Marduk. And was Marduk often fashioned to be Christ or the Christ being on this planet?
Yes.
And that's also connected to this age of Pisces, or was that the age of Aries? Marduk was connected to which age? Pisces. And the current age that we're in, would you say that we're in the age of Aquarius now?
Yes.
So when Pisces was here, that was ruled by Marduk, and then did Lucifer come and take the age of Aquarius?
Yes.
So now we have humans that have the ability to be Lucifer's or to be Christ's consciousness. They have 2 different consciousness that are being introduced to them, correct?
Yes.
And what would help humans connect to the previous age? is it possible to connect to a previous age?
Never go back.
Never go back. Okay. So then what can I do as Marduk to help the population here on this planet?
Love.
Okay. And just continue bringing the love here on this planet. What is Marduk's connection with Lucifer? Do they war, or are they what relationship do they have? They are brothers. Are they enemies or are they friends?
Enemies.
Okay. And the fifth brother, he isn't an enemy of Lucifer, correct?
No.
What is his connection with Lucifer?
Friend.
And are they working to make this brother, is this brother also connected to the same belief system as Lucifer?
Yes.
So this brother coming into power could potentially be harmful on this planet.
Yes.
Okay. And this brother, how long have we been in the age of Aquarius? Are we soon to enter a new age?
Decades.
We have decades, okay. And what is the year 2020 to you? Is there any connection or any significance to the year 2020 on this planet?
I get nothing.
Okay. Is there any other messages that you choose to give me or the being that you're speaking through?
No.
Okay. And in your existence, did you ever take on a physical form?
No.
So you always were a source of information.
Yes.
And you being in the seventh dimension, your job is to allow it to be spoken, for it to be heard, correct?
Yes.
Are you connected to the Archangel Gabriel?
No.
Who is Gabriel in connection to you?
Brother.
Okay.
Michael.
You are Michael? Would you consider yourself Michael?
Yes.
Okay. And Michael, or being Michael, a seventh dimensional being, also connected to one of the brothers. Which brothers did you, Michael, connect to directly of the Anunnakis?
Enki.
And this is why it is said that Lucifer and Enki always had battles, because you were connected to the consciousness of Enki at times, correct?
Yes.
Did you use Enki as a way of getting your, I won't say agenda, but your motive articulated? Was he the hand to your ideas?
Yes.
Okay. And which you reside on the seventh dimension. What is the difference between the 10th dimension and the seventh dimension?
Light.
Is the light at a higher vibration in the 10th dimension?
Yes.
So why do you choose to stay in the seventh dimension? Is it
I see silver.
You see silver? Is it his job to stay in the seventh dimension? Or is he trapped in the seventh dimension?
I don't know.
I want you now to ask, how is it that Lucifer and Marduk were able to get to the 10th dimension, while Michael is in the 7th dimension? Does it have to do with consciousness, that more people are conscious of these beings than they are of you? What would be the governing difference? How are these beings, especially a being like Lucifer, how is a being like Lucifer at a higher dimension than you?
It's my place.
So you choose to be there for a job per se, a purpose. You have a purpose where you're at, okay? And you're aware that everything has a connection to a source, correct?
Yes.
So do you feel that source is connected to the higher dimensional beings more than the lower dimensional beings?
Yes.
And in your opinion, how can a negative being operate on the 10th dimension? So then does that make that dimension a negative one?
He's not all bad.
He's not all bad. So then because he's not all bad, then how do we access that part? How do we get to that part?
Nothing.
And if we were to bring Lucifer forward, what form would he come in? Would he come in draconian form? Would he come in a light form? Which form would you think Lucifer would identify himself as?
Light.
And do you think it's possible to communicate with Lucifer and allow Lucifer to speak his perception or his theory or his ideal? Do you think it is possible to allow him to speak and then allow another being to intervene in his thoughts? Just like how we're communicating, why wouldn't we want to communicate with the Lucifer?
No.
Why? Why would you say no? If there's a part of him that is good, and that yourself and myself both operate from a love frequency, why wouldn't we want to bring a being that has a level of love within him to love? He should come closer to love and not closer to darkness. I think it's possible for us to allow him to see that there is other things outside of hate. Are you worrisome of bringing Lucifer forward? Do you not have the authority to bring him forward?
No.
You don't have the authority, correct?
Correct.
Does Marduk have the authority?
Yes.
And if we were to bring Lucifer forward, do you think he'll be willing to talk to Marduk?
No.
Will he have to speak to Marduk?
No.
So he can choose to be quiet.
Yes.
Okay. And at that point, we're going to end the session. At the count of 3, we're You're going to wake back up feeling rejuvenated, remembering everything we talked about, still having access to ascended beings and angels that you can call on and receive information from and have to help you and heal you and protect you. When I count to 3, you're going to wake up. 1, 2, 3. Well, that was interesting. So, if you were to describe some things now before they become more memories, can you still remember the carpet?
Yes.
Okay. And if you were to remember yourself, you say you remember green, you remember blue, you remember red, right?
Red. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you saw an eye. What did the eye look like?
It was a dragon's eye.
Yeah, so it had like the little slit.
Yes.
Okay. The interesting thing about these sessions